Non-violence leads to the highest ethics, which is the goal of all evolution. Until we stop harming all living beings, we are still savages. Thomas Edison. Isn't man a pathetic creature? What is wrong with us? Why do we have this horrible dark side to our behavior? It goes beyond evil. No other animal acts like we do. No other animal preys upon themselves systematically. No other animal deliberately spoils their food before they eat it. Is it any wonder man is in such a state of denial when his mistakes are coming from his food? I cannot think of a more addictive substance, my friends, than food. Are you addicted to air? How about water? Sunshine? Exercise? Oh yeah, people get addicted to exercise, right? Those endorphins kick in. Sleep. Face it, folks, there is no stronger addiction ever than one of our needs, especially when it comes to food. Now obviously there are drugs out there that are very addictive that have a similar effect. Crack cocaine, for example, damages our frontal lobe, so now we are not able to make good decisions. We keep making bad decisions. In the same way, eating the wrong food does the same thing. If we fall in love with it and get addicted to it, we shut off our frontal lobe just like the crackheads aren't able to use their frontal lobe. So it's a very similar situation. You might say the unnatural food is the crack cocaine for humanity. It's a tough spell to overcome. But look what it's doing to us. Look how violent we are. We still have war, crime, and violence. We're still killing animals. We're eating them. We're abusing them. We're mistreating them. Life is such an illusion for most of us on this planet that it's incomprehensible, because it's on so many levels. So many levels. I reflect back on my life, and I hate to admit it, but the majority of my life I was totally clueless about most things that are of any importance. Luckily, I changed my diet at 32 and I started seeing how important that was. Fortunately, when I was 36, I found raw food, and that makes so much sense. And now I realize that that is the fall of mankind. That is the reason why we have a dark side to our behavior. We stopped eating raw food. We started cooking our food. That is the fall of mankind. Now think about what I'm proposing here. What if it was really something that simple? That it's just our food. And the biggest thing that we do to it that messes it up is cooking it. Wouldn't that make sense? Well, is everybody eating cooked food? Yes. Is there a good news, bad news to the story? Yeah, there is. Good news is we could pretty much eliminate most of the suffering on this planet. Bad news, everything revolves around it. Traditions, money, we're addicted to it. Now, once we reach a certain age, everything we do every day, every hour, every minute of the hour revolves around eating. Our species is out of control. We're under a spell. We're no different than the person smoking a cigarette that has 3,000 chemicals in it, and when they put it out within 2 minutes, they have that withdrawal symptom to light up another one. We're doing the same thing to ourselves. We're putting ourselves under the spell where we have a withdrawal symptom. And most people think it's just natural, it's normal. Comparatively normal. Yeah, everybody feels hunger down here when they have that withdrawal symptom. It must be normal. Comparatively speaking, but not naturally speaking. That's not where true hunger is supposed to be. Do I talk about this a lot? You bet I do, because I think it's one of the most important things we need to understand. I think this is one of the most important things we can say to somebody to convince them something's wrong. Look, I can prove it to you. Do you feel hunger down here? Yeah, everybody does, okay? Stop eating. Watch it go away. Explain that. Even on a water fast, 3 or 4 days, it goes away. If it was true hunger, you'd be going crazy. And some people do if they're told they're going to die if they don't get their protein. So one of the most important things the natural hygienist spoke of when they talked about water fasting is the word fear. Cannot do this if you're afraid. If you believe that this is not a positive experience, you're not going to have a positive experience. That's the power of thought, which I've been going over lately in my videos. We have to understand that when we do a water fast, we're basically doing the same thing. We're going through the same metamorphosis that a caterpillar goes through when it becomes a butterfly. It's miraculous what we can do when we rely on nature and not man. We're very arrogant thinking that we have a solution to these problems. Nature knows how to solve these problems. And these are the things we can do ourselves, so we don't have to rely on anybody. And that's kind of the situation we're in, isn't it? Ever since we moved into cities about 5,000 years ago, it represents about 3 inches on a football field that has 100 yards, 3 feet in a yard, 12 inches in a foot. We haven't been in there very long. But ever since we came into cities, we become specialized, and it's impossible for the average person to do everything they need. So now we are vulnerable and we rely on experts in different fields. And now we're really screwed more than ever. And remember, when you look at the timeline, we've been consistently eating cooked food for about 1% of our existence, for about 60,000 years. And people keep saying, well, where's the proof of what you're saying is true? It hasn't been around for a long time. There isn't, and the proof that we have doesn't exist. We didn't leave evidence of living a natural life because there weren't fireplaces and things like that we can look at and go, well, we know when we started eating cooked food. We see the fireplaces and how they're used for cooking. That's when we started consistently cooking our food. That is the fall of mankind. And we've been doing it for so long that the crappy world we live in right now is a reflection of it. And you can't blame the crappy world for not acknowledging that we have a species-specific diet. We're supposed to live a certain way. We're supposed to only eat foods we're biologically adapted to eat. And we're not doing that. And as a result, we have a feedback system. That's what an illness is for. That's what an ill behavior is for. The dark side of our behavior is part of our feedback system. It's no different than having a headache or cancer. It's the same thing. We're doing something wrong. But the biggest problem we face as a species is this denial that each and every one of us are sucked into because we love cooked food. Plato understood that whatever deceives men seems to produce a magical enchantment. That's the hunger spell I'm speaking of, my friends. So if you want to try to motivate somebody, tell them to test an idea as time has come. Let's see what can happen if we can get rid of that false hunger that you're feeling. If you still have hunger down there, that means you still have some work to do. You shouldn't have any discomfort anywhere in our body. It's nature's way of telling you something's wrong. So I always tell people, if you're going to take a solid food vacation, what you want to do is be a doctor. Pretend like you're a doctor and just push everywhere. If it hurts and you know you got a problem in that area and you want to pay attention to it, might need to support it. You can also look at your eyes. Check out where your weak organs might be. Remember, 3 main things we have to do on a solid food vacation. Give the body everything it needs. You got to drink a lot. Support the organs of elimination. Make sure we're getting rid of the stuff we're releasing from the cells. The third thing is support the body in case it's damaged. So you've got to play a role, a very active role in figuring that out. Take pictures of your eyes. Look at eye charts on the internet. You can see what part of your eye is damaged. And you'll know that you might need to support your adrenals or your kidneys if you have to. The great thing about a solid food vacation is many times you don't have to do anything but just take a rest from solid food. Stop making your body expend all that energy, separating the fiber from the juice. Redirect and rechannel that energy so we can go toward cleansing and rebuilding, repairing. And when you do, when you go the distance, you have that aha moment. And that's the most important thing that all of us need to experience. If we don't have that aha moment, if we really don't understand what we're missing, we're not going to be near as motivated as we would had we had that experience and that reference. We need that brand new reference. It's one of the most important things that each and every one of us can do for ourselves. Because without that reference, it's going to be harder to stay motivated. So what's the best way to stay motivated? Well, we start off by taking a solid food vacation, go the distance, and then when you can do that, you can correct 5 main mistakes on a permanent basis. And that's accomplished with a raw vegan diet. Realizing that we might have another group of needs if your body's damaged. When you can figure all that out, my friends, I guarantee you, you're in for a treat.